So welcome back. This is Reggie Mara speaking about healing America's narratives, specifically Chapter 6, which is a brief history of the Vietnam War in the context of the America that we're living in this third decade of the 21st century. Specifically today, we'll take a quick look at what has become historically known as the My Lai Massacre, which occurred on March 16th, 1968. And it occurred under the protocols or the operating rules of search and destroy missions and free fire zones, where the soldiers and Marines on the ground were given the permission, the rules of engagement, to kill any military-age men they encountered, to burn villages, and to capture women and children and send them off to refugee camps. On March 16, 1968, in the village of Son My, and specifically in the hamlet of that village, My Lai, some 504 men, women, and children who were unarmed were killed pretty much point blank by American military personnel. But over 300 of those occurred in My Lai itself. During the slaughter, a U.S. Army helicopter pilot, Hugh Thompson Jr., along with his gunner, specialist Larry Colburn, and crew chief specialist Glenn Andreatta, interrupted one of these massacres. And basically what Thompson did was put his helicopter down between the soldiers who were killing civilians and the next group of civilians they were about to kill. And he ordered Colburn, his door gunner, to fire upon the American military personnel if they didn't put their guns down. They did, in fact, put their guns down, so Colburn did not have to shoot American soldiers. Based on that action of interrupting a massacre, all three of them, Thompson, Colburn, and Andreatta, were called traitors, and for 30 years were disowned by many, not all, members of the U.S. military hierarchy. On March 6, 1998, the three of them, Thompson, Colburn, and posthumously Andreatta, who actually died a few weeks after the My Lai Massacre, was killed in action. They received what's called the Soldier's Medal for heroism not involving conflict with an enemy. So there's a piece of that, of what happens in war, that Neil Sheehan in A Bright Shining Light basically said that because of the way the war was conducted by the generals and the American politicians, effectively the bombs dropped, thousands of tons of bombs dropped on Vietnam, and napalm dropped to defoliate the forests, killing men, women, and children indiscriminately. That type of bombing made what happened in Son My village and in the hamlet of My Lai inevitable. That the soldiers on the ground saw the lack of regard that the generals and the president and the Secretary of Defense and the Congress had for the Vietnamese people. Sheehan basically said that what happened on the ground was a horror, and that it was effectively inevitable because of what the soldiers saw their superiors doing from the air, basically, with no regard for Vietnamese life, and effectively resulting in the dehumanization of the Vietnamese people. So a dark chapter in American history, for sure. Thanks for staying tuned into this, and I look forward to speaking with you the next time.